Jeremy Corbyn yesterday spent a big chunk of the day with Momentum. It's a new Labour grassroots organisation set up in the wake of his victory to increase the grip of his way of thinking on the party. It's claimed one aim, already being plotted, is to deselect moderate Labour MPs, and Momentum could be helped by major changes coming up to constituency boundaries. Here's our Ellie.
Watch that man, he's plotting. He's a member of a strange organisation that spends all its time plotting, and what they're plotting are maps.
And that's almost exactly what some Labour MPs are worried about. New lines on electoral maps and plotting. Fears of a purge and a surge to the left were hardly soothed by comments from Jeremy Corbyn's newly appointed Director of Strategy and Communications just a few weeks before he took on the job.
The Tories are planning to bring in new boundaries for constituencies around the country, and that will mean there'll have to be reselections. There'll have to be new selection procedures to pick Labour candidates for those constituencies. Because at the moment, the Parliamentary Labour Party is not only far to the right of most Labour Party members, but actually it's to the right of public opinion on lots of key issues, although they talk about electability all the time. And so, there needs to be some recalibration of that.
This is Clapham Common. We're at a point where there are several Labour MPs in the seats around the Common whose boundaries are going to be changed a lot by the Commission.
Among them, the decidedly non-Corbynite Chuka Umunna, who, according to one expert in these things, could find himself forced to seek re-selection at the next election.
In areas such as a lot of metropolitan England and London, where the boundary changes are most radical, there's most scope for deselecting MPs.
The new boundaries could look very different again by the time they're published in 2018 because of the reduction in the number of seats from 650 to 600. Analysis for this programme, based on the latest boundary proposals of 2012, suggests that MPs like Liam Byrne, Chris Leslie and Tristram Hunt could face significant changes to their current seats. Just looking at England, of the 206 seats Labour currently hold, only 36 would remain unchanged. 54 constituencies are likely to change by more than 40%. That's more than double the proportion of Tory seats affected. There are some in the Parliamentary Labour Party who are worried. The Sunday Politics has spoken to a number of MPs, including a former minister, who say this could lead to mandatory reselection by the back door, a means of getting rid of the faces that don't fit.
I think my colleagues are right to worry about this. We've had an influx of people joining the party. Some of them probably were expelled in years gone by, in actual fact. Many of them will certainly be on the far left of the party. They will be Jeremy Corbyn supporters. And they'll be making a decision, because of boundary changes, we'll be making a decision on who should be their Labour parliamentary candidate. And it's fair to say that they might not pick more moderate MPs like myself and others.
Frank Field arrived back on Merseyside confident he can survive tonight's move to deselect him.
Another veteran Labour MP agrees boundary changes are bringing back old memories when members of his own party tried to replace him with a militant tendency candidate. He says MPs this time should be prepared.
There will be a large group, I would hope, in Parliament of MPs who will, if colleagues are unfairly treated, encourage their colleagues to stand in by-elections, to stand as independent Labour candidates, and that a large number of us, including myself, would go and actually campaign for them. Now, that's a capital offence, campaign for somebody standing against an official Labour candidate, but if enough of us go, they can't pick all of us off and expel the lot.
The current Labour rules, introduced in 2013, state that an MP with a substantial territorial interest in a new constituency may seek selection as a matter of right. A substantial territorial interest is defined as 40% or more of the previous constituency. These rules will be updated after the next boundary review, but I've been told by members of Labour's National Executive Committee that there are categorically no moves to change them.
Local party members will decide whether they want to stick with their existing Labour MPs, and I think they pretty much will do in nearly every case, probably every single case, I would have thought.
So essentially, people are just overreacting?
Well, no, people are obviously nervous because we're going to have MP up against MP in some parts of the country. It's going to be the same in the Tory party as well. The Tory party are going to have MP up against MP. So you can understand why people feel nervous and unsure about that. But people shouldn't feel nervous about whether the rules are changing.
And certainly for some MPs, the more pressing concern is what they perceive as Tory gerrymandering. That's what this rally yesterday was about. The first nationally coordinated set of events organised by Momentum. Following the death of Michael Meacher MP, there will be a by-election within the next few months. It will be a gauge of Mr Corbyn's leadership and of whether these new members really can and will influence what Labour looks like in Parliament.